Well, my next guest has had an exciting life as well. At the age of 15, she was expelled from school for smoking behind a tree on the lacrosse pitch. As her career developed, she wore a tight sweater in several forgotten films, and she became rich and famous as the writer of racy novels. She is Jackie Collins. Well, Jackie, they say that writers should write about what they know, and like Pamela, because you know Hollywood fairly well. What was your first encounter with it?
Well, I first went to Hollywood when I was 15, which is a while ago, and it was a wild place even then, but it wasn't as wild as it is today.
Well, was part of your life as an actress spent being chased around desks in traditional style?
I guess it was. I mean, the casting couch is alive and well and working in Hollywood. I knew many people who would say, she knows. I knew many women who would go for a part, or, you know, the producer would say, hey, baby, you know, can you lift up your skirt a little bit? Let's have a look at your legs. I mean, this really went on. Men are terribly corny. I mean, they have these terrible lines that they still come out with. Married men are always hitting on women and saying, but my wife doesn't understand me. And then the wife gets pregnant, and he's, you know, sworn that he's never slept with the wife. And then he says, well, it was her birthday. What could I do?
I'm happy to say this sounds very unfamiliar to me.
Of course it does, Michael. We were not casting aspersions at you.
You were, of course, on the other side of the desk, as it were, when you were responsible for the casting of the film of The Stud, your book.
Oh, it was wonderful.
What kind of people applied?
Well, very strange people, actually. We got letters from all over the country saying, we got letters from 10 girls in an office saying, our boss should be the stud because, I won't go into why. And we got another one from a man who said, here is my picture. And there was this naked picture of a man, and across a certain part that you call a dickie. Is that what I
used to call it.
Yeah. What do you call it today, Michael?
A Richard.
Across this part of his anatomy, which shall be nameless, there was a little sticking plaster, and it said, I want you or Joan, if you dare, to peel this plaster off. Well, we tossed up and we decided neither of us dared, so we didn't do it. He didn't get the part either.
No, yeah, good.
He didn't have the part to get the part.
You never found out if he had the part to get the part.
Well, I'm lying.
No. Oh. She took it off.
It was very disappointing.
I'm sure it was.
Yes.
Now, your writing career took off in '68 with World is Full of Married Men.
Yes.
That wasn't, of course, the first thing you ever wrote, was it?
No, I used to write at school a lot, and I used to sell what I was writing to the girls at school, and I soon realized that if I made it a bit spicy, I would get more than threepence for it. So I used to make up limericks, you know, things like, well, along the lines of 'twas on the good ship Venus, my God, you should have seen us, the figure... No, I can't go any further.
Yeah, and the master was...
It's a Saturday, and of
Richard,
course.
Yes. You have turned your attention to the Hollywood wife. Now,
Yes.
What is a typical Hollywood wife?
Well, a Hollywood wife, I think, is a woman that gets up in the morning, and if she has a broken nail, her day is ruined. She has a man who comes to the house and he stretches her body because that's very chic. She doesn't want to go to the gym with all the sweaty people. She has to have him come to her house. Then her secretary will phone another Hollywood's wife's secretary to make an appointment for lunch, and they'll go to Marbezon or the bistro and trash all their friends. Then they'll go for a little shop and buy a, you know, $6,000 or $7,000 dress. I had one friend who I bumped into, well, an acquaintance really, the night before the Oscars, and she said, my God, Jackie, she said, I just don't know what I'm going to wear. I've worn everything. She said, I've got all these $3,000 and $4,000 dresses, dollar dresses. She said, and I've worn them all. So I looked at her and I was kind of sending her up, and I said, well, you know, you've always liked jewelry. Why don't you just get new diamonds? And she said, what a great idea.
Solved her problem.
She did, yes.
You've met them as well, Pamela.
Have you had your nails wrapped?
No, I haven't. Have you?
Yes, they do. They actually wrap your nails in paper. Why? Why? Why wrap your nails in paper?
Well, you know, Grace Robbins, who was married to Harold Robbins, has solid gold nails. They are solid gold. I said, my God, if you ever get robbed, you'll be in trouble. They'll pull your nails off. She wasn't amused.
Now, you portray Hollywood as a town where everybody knows what everyone else is up to. How does the grapevine work?
Well, you see, they have the jewelers. Now, the jewelers know everything that's going on because the Hollywood husband will go in and he will order something wonderful for his wife and something wonderful for his mistress, who is sometimes the wife's best friend. And then the Hollywood wife will go in and she will order a lot of things. And the jeweler goes, aha, there's going to be a divorce here in about 2 weeks. They're going to separate. And it's always true. She goes in and stocks up like a squirrel before the divorce comes.
You say that every bizarre episode in your book is true.
Well, actually, I've toned the truth down. I think you can't really tell the truth because nobody would believe it. There's stories like people who are not invited to parties, and they're so incensed by this, they turn all the lights out and they hide the cars in the garage and they put the garage doors down. And one couple I know who weren't invited to a party for the Queen, the English Queen, they were so incensed that they got on a plane and went to Acapulco. And they told everybody, well, you know, we have to be away that weekend and we can't go.
Is it possible to have friends in Hollywood, do you think?
Oh, yes. We've got wonderful English friends there. We spend a lot of time with Michael Caine and Shakira, who's my best friend there, and they're wonderful people because they've got a great sense of humour and they're very down to earth. I mean, Dudley Moore, who's the sex symbol of America now, I mean, they don't take it seriously. It's a game, and you kind of sit back and you play the game. And the Roger Moores, who are always terrific. I must say that we do mix mostly with English people there because we have a different sense of humour, a different way of life.
Yes. Thank goodness. Well, thank you very much. That's absolutely fantastic.